Hey everybody, welcome back to Art Club with Dean. Today we're on the letter X, and X is going to be, X marks the spot. So it's a pirate theme with buried treasure. So if you're ready, pencils and brushes, let's get sketching.
Let's do, for our X, I'll do a funny little skull here with the bones in the shape of the letter X. There we go. That's a traditional pirate symbol, like so. So let's go on. I might do my pirate with a twist. So let's get this mapped out first of all. So I'm going to lightly sketch my, oh hey Artie, what are you doing up here, hey? What a surprise. Now Artie's been inside all day. If you can see, he's after my brushes. He is going absolutely crazy. Right, you're not having my brushes, little one. Get off that. You go play. Hairs everywhere. I'm sure he'll jump up again, so just bear with me. So we're drawing a circle. And there we go. Off you go again. Come on, stop misbehaving. Cheeky. That's him, he's in a bad mood now, which leads me to get on. So a circle. We want the circle, and I'm going to roughly map out the body. Like in terms of length, so just a series of lines. And I know we haven't done this before. Want to be where her arm goes. I've already just given that away, haven't I? Because I said I want to go where her arm goes, but that's fine. Body. And she has this kind of thing on here. So this is kind of like a pre-sketch to what we're going to fill in before we do any lines. Now then, here we have the hand, like so, with the fingers like they're coming towards us. And we'll do cartoon fingers, not human fingers this time. Picking up that thumb, because the hand is holding up the treasure map. It's like it's being shown to us. We want a little scroll here, like so. I love doing things like this. And a little nick in the map. So when we say X marks the spot, this is where you would find buried treasure. So let's just finish off mapping out our pirate. Like so, and the hats on the head there. This here will be a little bit frilly. So as we come down here, let's get that other leg, and then our foot. Now I did want to give her, maybe I can, maybe I still can. I feel a bit bad about giving a female pirate a wooden leg. But if it's okay for a man pirate to have a wooden leg, then I think it's okay for our female pirate to have a wooden leg. So this is our rough outline. It's kind of like a frame, and we will fill it in from here. Pirate boots on this leg. So pirates had massive boots, and they're a bit wrinkly, and they also had a big buckle. So we'll put the buckle in here. I'm kind of glad we picked a female pirate, if I'm honest. I think she is going to look pretty amazing. There's a foot, whereas this one here has got the little wooden leg. And actually I might need to take that down so that's even with this one here. So pirates for me, they do have classic character traits in terms of what you associate with a pirate. This hand here, as it comes out, with the jacket, like so, and then we do the shoulder, like so. A few ruffles. Now then, the good thing about pirates is you can probably make up a story with them. So I'm going to give her the hook, which is synonymous with Captain Hook, but we are doing our lady pirates, and she can still have the hook. I don't see that as being a problem. Right, I'm gonna just do this side of the outfits. We will give her a nice big belt with a huge big buckle, nice wide belt here. And then that all comes out. Now I want to start a little bit on the face, and again I'm going to do the lines here. So here we are going to have a little nose and the eyes. Now I really should maybe even give her a patch over one eye, like so, and then this beautiful hair. Like so, and the hair will also come here. Lots of fabulous hair for our female pirate. Really big, beautiful eyes. And then we will do the lower half of the face, like so. And we will give her a very mischievous smile. A little bit of that neckline, a little bit of hair creeping over. Here we have the neck piece, and then another piece of hair. Coming around like so, and a little bit of the hair creeping around here, and then the rest of her uniform. So we do a little lapel thing like so that connects, and then we are going to put like a clasp effect join for our female pirate. I should have really thought a name up for her, shouldn't I? Put the little stripy bit here. Nothing there. A little bit of trim around this part. And we've got the frill on the hand. We have everything we need here. Let's do her eyelid and her eyebrow. And the hat is going to have the same symbol that we have drawn for X marks the spot. So we'll give it that classic pirate symbol. Like so. And then we have the eye patch and the other eyebrow goes up here. So here's our female pirate, looking very cool, if I do say so myself. And we want a tiny little bit of land. That she's landed on. And I'm going to put an X down here to show that she has indeed found the buried treasure. So we can say that she's found Bluebeard's treasure or something like that. Let's put a little palm tree. Just to the side of her. Just as a tiny little bit of scenery, just to offset and balance everything. What can we have on land? I think it might be quite fun. Let's do a little starfish. The little, these funny little leg things that they have. A little bit of the sea washing up. Actually, we have a shark fin as well. Just going on in the background. And then we want the map. The map I'm going to leave just for now, but I will put a little island that she's standing on with the tree and the letter X again, and then we'll do all the little dots afterwards, and we will distress the map to make it look like it's an old map. Let's get outlining our lovely pirate. So I'll speed this up for us today. Gives us more time to colour her in. Okay. So there we have our pirate outlined. Now we can start to fill in and have some fun with this lovely lady. So I mentioned that it was probably Bluebeard's treasure, so I think it might be quite fun to just give her a little bit of blue inside her hair. And I believe I've done this before in another sketch, which means we can, once we've done this and we've added the watercolour, we can start to add a little bit of like a felt tip pen over that. So this is kind of just being very rough. We have to look at where all of her hair is. This cool female pirate. I think female pirates would have been equally as good as the male pirates, for sure. So that's our blue added in there. What I may well do now is just start to add a little bit of the black as we go around. Same principles apply. You know, if we've got an area that's more in shadow or behind our character, then we can certainly use more of the black. And you know that when that mixes in with the blue, we'll get a darker blue colour. We'll add some of that here, and a lot of that underneath the hat. So again, you can see I'm being quite rough with the black, a little bit more sketchy, and we know when we add the water to it, it will all come good. So, what do we think for our pirate's costume? I think it needs to be a very, very deep red for this part of the costume. So let's get that on a nice even layer of this red colour around the hook. Like so. Carefully around these little, I guess they would be called fasteners, because they connect. They're like buttons. They're very fancy. That's the sleeve here. We need to do a little bit in here, but not too much, because there's that little trim of gold. You see it here as well. Carefully around these objects. So this area on this side of the body is going to be the area that's more in the shade. So what I will do is I will pencil that in and make that stronger, especially at the top, because there's a lot going on here, so this would be quite dark. Let's lightly sketch it in here. So generally I would go for a light wash of colour with your favourite pencil, and again choose the colours that you like. I've gone for this dark red. I guess I'm inspired a little bit more by Captain Hook. He would have been, well, he wore red. In a lot of the stories he's depicted wearing a red costume. So we can put red, darker red here as well, because obviously this part is folding over this part of the outfit. We will have dark on the inside here and on these creases, a little bit here. definitely dark around this hook. And here. I'm liking that already. Now I'm going to give her, ooh, I didn't get that from here, it goes on the other side. I'm going to give her lovely green leggings. And we're going to go for a dark, do I go for, yes, I do want to go for a dark green. Do I want to go for a darker green than this? Let's have a look. I'm going to try these two out because I think one may be too dark, and if I use that to do the shading, yep, that's too dark. I'll leave this dark green out because this will come in handy, but I just want a green for the leggings. Get that nice and even as it goes all the way across. You choose the colours that you love, or go with the colours that I've chosen. But I think it's really nice when you do play around and you experiment with different styles and different colours. And there's no right or wrong with these, because these are fantasy characters that we've made up. So we choose how they look, and I'm sure they'd be all the more happy for it. So a little bit of shadow here, and a lot of shadow here, and shadow around the top of the boot as well. And we've got a little bit of shadow going on here. So again, I will do more shadow on the inside. This is very strong, this colour, I know it's very strong. So a little bit on this darker, on this leg. You go back in there. We have done with our green here. These two over. Now, boot wise and hat wise, I'm going to go for brown. I just think brown is going to be a nicer colour rather than black. So this is the wooden leg. So we'll give it a wash of this nice light, it's a rich brown actually, make it stronger on the outer parts. Stronger where it overlaps. It's almost a bit telescopic, as you can see, and a little bit darker on each one of the outside parts. And we will do the same here. We will lightly colour in the boots. I'm going to leave a little bit of highlight just here. And we will also have highlight going down the centre of this boot. It's going to be darker in the middle, and we'll keep that little bit of highlights on the base of the shoe or the boot. A little bit here and darker here. So let's make the outside of the boot much stronger and a little bit lighter. The overhang, we'll have a little bit of overhang of this flap. We'll have a little bit of shadow, and the same here, the same here, and the same here. A little bit of an indent, just to show that that's in the shadow. Around the buckle we can be a bit more severe with the dark, and also as the buckle hangs over this shoe, that would be much darker. The belt and the hats are also going to be brown. So we do around our little skull and crossbones, as they call them. And I'm going to add the detail to the skull and crossbones a little bit later. Get the hat down with a nice light shade, but I'll make it darker around the skull and crossbones, just so I can make that stand out a little tiny bit more. We said this belt here, but let's change our browns up, and let's go for my lovely, do I want a sandy colour one? Yep, I guess I do. But let's go for the actual darker one. And then we make it lighter as we come in. Darker on the outside, especially around where the hook is. Darker on this side, and darker around where the buckle is. That colour goes back here because I want to give our pirate gorgeously warm skin tone. And make those fingers there darker, and around the nail, darker, and then this part, the palm of the hand, will be darker. Now we can start to do our beautiful pirate lady, exactly the same colour. So this isn't going to take a lot to activate this colour. I'm probably not going to do too much at all. I will leave the centre of the face a little bit lighter. Around the lip and the nose, like so. She's looking beautiful. Gorgeous. Let's mix the two colours together. We've done this before, which looks great when we're shadowing those. A yellow and an orange, so we have the two colours. So let's add the yellow to almost all of it. Just very, very roughly. Yellow to the buckle, leaving a little bit of white. Do I want, yes I did, I said gold didn't I for the trim. Let's use this colour here, which is a lighter colour. So we'll use this light colour here for the trim, which goes around the neck here. So we have two different variants of the yellow. Trim, trim, this trim here, like so. Am I missing anything? No, the hook's yet to be done. Oh, yes we have the buckle on the shoe. That can be the same colour yellow. So we switch over back to the darker, more orangey yellow for the remainder of the clasps. I don't know why I missed off this part of the red here. So I'm just going to go quickly back in and just fill that in. Silly of me not to do that. Curl there. And darker there. Not darker there. Crease that up. So a tiny little bit of orange, just around. It's almost like, I think of that as like a bird shape. I don't know why. A little head and two little wings. So just a little bit, a little scribble of the orange, just on those parts. Now all of these lovely colours can go back. I think yellow, dark yellow, and then this colour here. We need a little bit of grey, as you know we do, for the hook, but leave some light shining through here, definitely. This lovely light colour blue, the detail on the sleeve. So these are the ruffles that most pirates would have. We need to give her a nail colour, but I'm going to come back and do all of those at the end. Let's go for, have I got a murkier sandy colour? What does this colour look like? So if you watched yesterday's sketch with Merlin, or the wizard I should say, I just like to do a tiny wash of colour on the backgrounds. Not a lot, very, very watery, because it should be all about the character we're seeing in the centre. So I'm just going to lightly scribble this down. The same with the palm tree. Where have I got another nice colour brown? Maybe. No, it's not in there. Okay, so yes it is. Here it is. Here's my brown. Let's give that a quick sharpen. And a different colour brown. So for the palm tree, again the same kind of thing. Nothing too brilliant. And then we will add in a little shadowy colour. There's that extra colour. The same with the palm leaves. I'll do this nice and bright, but again, just a scribble of colour going across all of them. So you can see the difference between the tree and the land. The X will be done in a very vivid red, but a wash of red. Like so. Actually, it is almost like the X Factor X, isn't it? Just a very light scribble on there, and then also, lastly, let's get a gorgeous colour blue. Gorgeous colour blue for the ocean. So let's actually, this colour here looks absolutely gorgeous. Why haven't I used this before? Let's put on the dark side. Alright, we can add some of that. The waves, and then we will also add in. Do we have another? This, no, there's this colour here. That's more like a. Let's make the waters tropical. So we'll overlay the light blue with the dark blue all around the bottom here. I might even add a tiny little bit of this blue here. This is the blue I had yesterday. So you can see I'm just putting in just lines of colour, because they will shine. They certainly will shine. Our shark fin needs to be grey. And again, just a little wash of colour. We will leave this predominantly white in the middle. A little bit more shadow here. Now our map. So this, I did this. I'm going to take a little bit of this. It's almost very similar to her skin tone colour. And I'm just going to randomly place it in the corners, around certain areas a little bit more than others. And we'll make it darker in here. Of course we will. Then I'm going to add a much darker brown here to the inside, and I will maybe even add a little bit of black towards the end. To that, I will also add in some yellow just to carry on distressing this, because I want to make it look like old paper, and that should do the trick. Now our starfish is going for a very, very bright pinky colour, just like so. I think we're ready to start filling some of this colour in with a little bit of water. So let's take my favourite, you know, my trusty brush. I have my kitchen towel to blot, and we can start to fill in some of that colour. I'm going to move my water just to here so you don't see me reaching across too much. Let's start at the top. So let's start by, first of all, diluting this blue colour. So very carefully and nice and evenly we will get the base colour done first. If this mixes in with the black, it's fine for this drawing because we're doing hair. And we're going to come on and finish that hair off a little bit later as well. So keep adding more water. So there I need to be careful. Here I want all the purple to be seen as purple and not as a black purple. So hence me doing these areas first. Clean my brush, dampen off the excess. Just get that lovely light purple in all the areas where we need it. And it's kind of cool that a lady pirate would have purple, little purple accents to her hair. And I can see another little bit of purple just in here, which is going to be really tricky because we don't want to get it onto the sleeve. So very carefully do that. Now I'm going to start to use the black. So bring the black down on top of that purple. Same on this part here. So I don't need to add any more water. This hair, this piece of hair is shadowed, so we can connect the black over the top of the purple. Let's keep going, doing the same kind of thing. I will go back up to the top again and activate my black. Like so. And just wash that all the way down. And a little bit here as well. Blend that into the purple. As we do this little sweep here, I need to have a little bit more water just to activate those two colours. And bring the black up to the point and just around here. I will wet the brush again. There's quite a lot of this hair. I've just seen an area that I've missed off with the light purple, but that's okay. Connect this black up, just dilute that down a little bit more so it merges in with the purple. So this little circular stroke with your brush will start to blend the two in together. Now then, clean my brush because there's a piece of light purple hair just here that connects to here. Let's go back and start to do the dark here. So let's do these little waves of darkness first. This will be very dark. This little curl of hair. And then the top comes round. More water is needed as we start to move the hair around here. Leave a little bit of light on there. We start to move this colour into the other colour, into the purple. There's a little bit of hair here. So this is the black. Get close to our little fingers that we've just drawn. That's been done, that's been done. This has been done. So I think that's all of the hair done. So clean my brush thoroughly this time. Keep going in with water. Now we will do the pirate's hat. So again, this can be more textured. And when I say textured, I mean, don't worry about it being too like perfectly even in terms of colour, because it would be a bit dirty if our female pirate captain has been at sea. Yeah, he's got the sun and the wind and the salty sea air. That is not going to make that hat look brand new. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think that would bother her one little bit. So you see, give it some texture. Leave some of those bits unfinished, and you can certainly overlap our little skull and crossbones. I'll leave the face until last. What we're going to do now is come on to her outfit, and we will do exactly the same as we did with the hair. Let's do a wash of this light shade first, because it's quite a strong red. So just carefully, I'm being very, very light with how I use this. A light wash of colour. And these outfits tended to be velvety, so I think watercolours look really good when you're trying to create that almost velvet-like texture. This is stronger. We can activate this little piece of red to do some of the detail, like so. Clean off the excess, because we're starting again on a lighter part, which is just here, so a little bit more water. Let's do the light parts first, and then go into the dark parts. And I will try, with my nice clean brush, is just to go in here and activate the red around the little clasps, just so that that's done. And that's working very nicely, just as a background colour. Here is much darker. I'll activate my brush with a little bit more water as we start to do the darker reds. So around this piece of hair and a little bit on the shoulder. There is definitely red in here. You can see it's very red there. Take a little bit of that underneath here. More water. Be very, very careful on these sections here to make sure that you don't go onto the yellow. And we can start to take that down, blend that into this section. More water to activate this area of darkness here, or darker red I should say. I'll use a little bit of that just to strengthen up that colour. Let's do the other side. More water. This is primarily, or mostly, a darker colour. So you can see the difference between this side and the other side. This is the material that is in shadow. Carefully around these little decorative parts. Making sure you've got enough water here, but don't make it too wet. Avoid the map. Let's do this collar detail. This part around the frill, which would be even darker. There we have it. So that's our little top done. Let's go on to do the bottom part. So I don't need to clean my brush as thoroughly, but there are some mid-tone red sections here. So let's do, I'm just holding my brush a little bit flatter, I want to just do these sections first. And again, be very careful as we go around the detail, making sure you do get some red as close to these as is possible. And let's start to do the darker colours. I love it when you see the colours start to turn into a paint. I think it's quite fascinating. You know, you're using a pencil crayon to start off with, and then all of a sudden it turns into this gorgeous paint. It is really clever. So much fun to use. I remember when I was younger and I used to use pencil crayons. I did use them. I preferred them to felt tip pens, which I think were all the rage when I was younger. And now, the thought of actually using like a pencil crayon to paint with, I think is just brilliant. So you can do all the scribbly bits that we did earlier and then start to paint with it. Here we go. Get this lovely dark part to her outer costume. And we'll start to take that in, making sure it's really dark around the belt and a little bit lighter on the inside. This can be blended in a little bit more. Clean the brush thoroughly because we're done with the red. We're moving on to a new colour, which is the green. So the same again, a nice light wash. Over the leg, light colour first, and then we can do into the dark. So you can see I can now start to activate the dark. Dark green is a gorgeous colour. I do need a bit more water in order to do so. I think it's because this particular crayon, the pigment in this one is really strong. I can feel it as I'm colouring in with it, that it's super, super dark. Which is actually really nice. It's a beautiful colour. And let's just blend that in slightly. And then we do the other leg, tapping off any excess water. Let's get the light colour green first. And then we go with the dark. And I'll just round that off nicely. Like so. Get around that coat. Wow, I do love that colour green, that's smart. Boots and wooden leg. Actually, you know what, let's do some of the detail before I go into some of that. Clean my brush thoroughly. Let's do a little bit of the trim. Let's activate that. So this is just a light wash over here just to soften it. Because this would be a ruffle, a white ruffle, not a blue ruffle. This is just to accentuate that. I can keep my brush the same, not clean it, just to do the hook. So again, to make that look more metallic, we will leave the white, especially on this part here, as it curves round. Clean it, and then move on to the belt. Light colour first, light colour here, and then all the darker elements of the belt. So this outside part, and this outside part here. We have nothing else tanned, I believe. Let's do the trim on the buckle, just move that yellow around. It's a nice vibrant yellow, so that will work. Same with the clasps. So nothing too crazy here. Just lightly run your wet brush over those just to soften the colour. And that's all we need to do. I'm not going to even do the ones on the lapel and this little trim here because they are so small. I will clean my brush and do the little bits of yellow here though because they are larger. Being very careful not to add any of that green, that will upset it. I'm going to switch over to this bigger brush with a little bit more water just to do the map, because remember we want this looking distressed and old, so I want a big brush and we are going to roughly go all over the paper. Clean my brush, more of that same effect as we mix those two colours together to give it that distressed, dirty, old look to it. Keeping some of those areas, you know, of that browny colour, that will look good, and some areas of white as well. Come back and add a little bit more detail to that. Now, because I'm going to do washes of colour, I'll stick to my big brush as we do the leaves to the palm. There's a light wash of colour. Clean my brush. We'll do the palm, the base of the palm. I've got two colours here, remember, so we do one, then we do the other. Clean the brush. Keep it nice and wet as we go on to do the island. So a nice light wash all over. Avoiding the X. Clean the brush as we activate a little bit more of our little desert island. And underneath, this can be a little bit darker because it's closer to the sea and our character. Lightly around the starfish. Like so. Then we have our lovely red X. So let's start to add a little bit of colour to that. Just to soften that up. Leave that sketchy. Let's do our little shark. Grey here, darker grey here. And we'll leave it nice and light in the middle so you can blend that through. And then lastly the ocean, a nice light wash of colour. So I'm going to start with the light blue. Take that in, and you can even do almost like wave shapes as you start to water that down. Let's get a little bit more water on here for this particular part. And on the other side. Light colour first. And then we can add the water to the darker colours. And just take that around the island. And then lastly, these little waves up here can be a little bit darker. Now then, we need to do her face, so clean my brush thoroughly. Let's start off with the hands first. So we'll do those nice and light. The light part first, and then the stronger part. And keeping my brush, without adding any water at this stage, we will take that colour across and soften that up. Now I need a little bit more water, but don't get this too wet. Carefully around the neck, and that wonderful little mouth we've given her. Around the eye, around the eye patch, and up. There she is, that's done. No, it's not. I just realised that she doesn't have any skin above the patch. So, just to remedy that, I'll take a little bit of paint directly from the pencil itself. Just check that looks about right. This can be darker. Here we go. How could I have missed that out? What is wrong with me? Now around that eye, we want a little bit of a darker brown. So I will use my brush with a little bit of this dark brown. Check it, just to make sure it's not too strong as we do darker brown around the eye for more definition. A little bit of this darker brown around the chin. And lastly, a little bit of the darker brown around the eye patch. I can also use a little bit of darker brown while I have it just here and on the finger parts. Now we have to colour in the little scroll. So let's start off with the light here, and then we add the dark as we bring that round like so, and then a little bit of shadow work here. I'm going to put in some distressed parts because I almost feel as though it's missing a little bit more of that, you know, where it gets really kind of old, like around the outside. So kind of just add another little wash of brown here. So it's quite watery, or very watery I should say, and it just gives it that lovely kind of distressed. I want it to almost look creased, so we could put a few little lines going across, like so, and then a few more of these much darker areas. Scribble those on. That's better. That's exactly what we wanted. Right, I'm missing her boots. The one thing that we need to get done to finish her off. Start off with the light colour. Again, blending that in. We're going to leave that area of light. We'll get into my dark now. We start to go along. Clean my brush, take off any excess. So we do the light parts around here. And then these darker areas here. You know, we're putting all the shadows in as well. So that's our wooden leg. And then we have this boot. So we'll do the light colours first. Being careful not to dislodge the dark brown just for the moment. We want that to be very light here. some more water. We go across here to connect that, but leaving a gap in the middle. Nice and light here, and then a little bit more light around the base of the shoe, and now we go into the dark colours. And we have that colour there. It's very, very dark here. Shadow. Dark on the outside of the boots. And then we've got these little detail parts, which are just kind of like creases and folds in the actual boot. Definitely a shadow here. We've got a little starfish to do. We didn't activate the purple here. Just give that a light wash. These little characters are really fun to add. The shells we can leave white. So now it's just some of the detailed bits that we need to do. So I am going to give her a lip, which we need to do, and give that a really, really nice sharp point. I think we will do this a gorgeous pinky colour. And we'll leave a little bit of highlight just here. Her patch, let's do that in a gorgeous black. And I'm going to make it darker, just around the outside here. And then use our brush, tap off the excess here. The same kind of principle, light in the middle. And then, because we did it darker around the outside, we will add that in. Just so it's not completely jet black. The nails, I'm going to add in darker brown, and I'm going to use a felt tip for this because I want them to be shiny. So I'm going to put in these two little balls of light as we do a darker brown nail. One ball of light here, and then another ball of light. Perfect. I can use my brown felt tip pen just to do the lines of the wood. You know, we've done that before, just to put in a little bit more detail, so it's kind of like a little squiggly motion. I can also put in a few of the creases along the side of the boots. We can put a few little ridges on the belt to make the belt look more distressed and old. That's looking fine. And then for the hair, so we mentioned about the hair before, and we've done this effect, so maybe you need to get a bigger marker. And I'm going to do this in the brown colour. So what you can do is we can go over some of these main curls, like so, and make them look more like hair. So just little strokes, like so. Just to give them that texture of hair. Think about where the hair is moving. So here we start to change direction for the curl part here. Also down here, and then a little flick of hair there. We'll make it darker here. And blend that in with the black. That comes round, and then also this little part here will be darker, and then lighter with just the hair movements there. Let's put a little bit of hair down in the back here. We can do some lines of brown just on our palm tree. And then we just need to do, with our felt tip pen, the dots to the treasure. So they often have like this. And then we can also add in a little tiny like compass. So with the direction, we'll put a little circle here. We can do a little pirate ship, like so. Sometimes they have little sharks, of which we've already included, so that's kind of good. And then the waves. And I think that that is pretty much everything for Our Lady Pirate. Ah, no it's not, look at this. The one thing I said I would do last, and that's the detail on the skull and crossbones, which is great because now I can do the letter X, which is what we started with. Let's outline this. This is our skull shape, skull eye, little skull nose, and then we do our bones in the shape of a cross, like so, and add a little bit of shadow just with our black around the actual skull itself, a little bit of detail around the side of one of the bones, and there we have it. We have X marks the spot, and we have our beautiful female pirates instead of a male pirate. I hope you've enjoyed today's sketch as much as I've enjoyed doing it. I think it's been a really fun take on the letter X. It's a tricky one to do. So play with this one, add your own colours and your own styles to this, and of course share your results if you can with me, because I do love to see your artwork. But for now, I will say goodbye, and tomorrow will be another letter, which is the letter Y. So until then, take care, bye.